Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. I am excited for this very special solo episode, which I called How to Succeed in Any Area of Your Life. This is going to be one of those episodes you're going to want to listen to it a bunch of times or watch it a bunch of times, take notes, share it with your friends. I'm really excited. I put a lot of time into this, and it's something that I think is going to help everyone, anyone, everyone, not just MSLs. Before I get into it, there's still time to register for the AI, Artificial Intelligence and Medical Affairs Conference, which is being hosted by Momentum Events, and that is in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, on January 28th and 29th. So to register, go to AI in Medical Affairs or check it out on my LinkedIn page. You'll see announcements. And if you type in MSL 15, you'll get 15% off. So I hope to see you there. I will be there as well. So let's jump into this, guys. Again, please be prepared to take notes because I'm going to kind of spell out a process, and it's going to take a little bit of note taking, and it's going to be something that is really, really simple. But I want you guys to make sure that you get it right. So before I get into it, I want to start with I came across this quote recently that I love, and it's from Jim Rohn, and he says, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." And that really, I love that. It made me think, and it's kind of part of what this is all about. There's another quote I want to share with you. It's from John Maxwell, who's notorious for saying, "You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily." And that's obviously, you guys know I love to talk about habits and creating habits and the importance of daily disciplines. That goes along with that. And so does this, the stuff that I'm going to share with you. So, what if I told you that to find success in any area of your life, it's as easy as two simple steps? And I'm totally serious. And those two simple steps are you need to have a promise and you need to have a plan. So, first, you start with a promise that you make to yourself, and then you develop the plan. I know you're probably saying, Tom, it can't be that simple. Like, if it were that simple, then, why isn't everybody out there being successful? And um, look, there's a lot more to it, and there's science. This is rooted in science. So I'm going to spell it out for you. But the one reason I wanted to start with it the way that I did is I want you guys to understand that sometimes you have to make it simple. And the easiest way for me to describe this process is to break it down into the simplest way possible. So let's start with the promise. And the reason the promise is such a big piece of it rather than a resolution, as we all know, they're just made to be broken and they never last. When you make a promise to yourself, or let's just say when you make a promise to someone else, let's say you promised your kids something or your boss. As humans, we don't like to break promises that we make for others. We also don't like to break promises that we make to ourselves. There's science behind this. According to Charles Duhigg, the author of The Power of Habit, establishing actionable promises to ourselves helps create habit loops. Repeatedly fulfilling promises that we make to ourselves reinforces positive behaviors and makes long-term success more likely. Psychologist Albert Bandura's research on self-efficacy highlighted that believing in our ability to follow through on our own promises increases our likelihood of success. Small wins achieved by keeping promises to ourselves builds confidence that we need for larger accomplishments. So you start with a promise. How does it, what science behind it? We just talked about it. So this isn't just like Tom Caravela is like, oh, yeah, you just promise yourself something and it's going to happen. I broke it down. This this whole concept of making a promise to yourself in 3 easy steps. So here's where I want you to really start taking notes. To make a promise to yourself, number one, write it down. You've heard me talk about this before when I talked about goals and intentions in some of my other solo podcasts. But it's very important to write it down because you want to make it real. And I would write it out every day if you can. Put it in a journal, put it on a piece of paper, whatever it is, repeat the promise to yourself as often as you possibly can, even if it's several times a day, so that you can make it real. But write it down. There was a study by Dr. Gail Matthews, a psychology professor at the Dominican University, who found that people who wrote down their promises and goals were 42% more likely to achieve them than those that didn't write them down. We also know that writing down promises to ourselves reinforces our commitment by externalizing the goal, making it more tangible and harder to ignore. So it's very important to write down the promise first. And then number two, make it detailed. You have to give yourself the details of what it is that you are promising to yourself. So for example, I will lose 15 pounds by my daughter's wedding in 4 months on such and such a date. And I will wear the black dress that I love and I need to get in, and it's going to look like this. Or as a job seeker, on the career side, I will land my dream job as an oncology medical science liaison with a large pharmaceutical company in 2025. So make it specific, give it life, give it details. It's really important that you kind of create that promise by giving it more than just this broad description. Number three, and this is really important, you have to start to visualize. Imagine what it's going to feel like when you actually get there. Give yourself the gift of receiving it before it happens. So what's it going to feel like when you put that dress on and it fits and you look in the mirror and you have that satisfaction and you know that you did it and the hard work paid off? Or how is it going to feel and how is your life going to change when you get that oncology MSL job and you see your first paycheck, that direct deposit hit your account? How good is that going to feel? What are you going to go out and celebrate? Is there a certain steakhouse or a restaurant that you're going to make a commitment that when you get that first paycheck, that's where you're going to go for dinner? You're going to take your spouse, you're going to take your friend, you're going to take your mom, but you're going to celebrate that. And how much fun are you going to have at that wedding in that black dress? So start to visualize and make it real. Okay, so those are 3 simple ways to start the process by creating the promise. Now we have to get into the plan. And this is where the nuts and bolts are. And this is really important. So again, make sure you're taking notes. So here are the 5 steps that you're going to need to devise a plan that's going to bring you success. Number 1, and you guys probably will guess this, you know how I am. I'm a big preparation guy. Prepare first. This is key to your success. When I say prepare, you have to research and figure out what is the best plan. This requires time and some strategic input. Use the internet, buy a book on the subject, take a course, hire a coach, maybe ask someone who's done it before and see how they did it. You have to know what plan is going to work best for you based upon your circumstances, based upon your experience, based upon your past. You have to find the roadmap for success first. Guys, there's so much available to us now. The answers are out there. The plans are out there. We have to make sure that we're doing the homework ahead of time so that we can execute and keep the promise to ourselves and reach the goal. So that's number 1. Number 2, you have to set up your environment. You have to set up your environment. If you want to lose weight, you got to get the right food in the house. If you're looking for your dream job, you have to surround yourself with the right people, the right resources, and the right amount of time to be able to make progress. If one of your promises is to stop drinking alcohol, well, you may want to quit your job as a bartender. I mean, that's a pretty obvious example, but like get the alcohol out of your house. Here's the important piece to this, guys. You cannot rely on willpower alone. If you do, you will fail. You have to make sure, yes, willpower is important, but create your environment so that you're eliminating the detractors or at least minimizing the detractors and you're setting yourself up for success. Number three, consider the obstacles. So know what the detractors are, know what the distractions are ahead of time. List them out and devise a strategy to handle them so that they don't derail your plan. So, for example, if you're trying to lose 15 pounds and you have three kids, and the three kids have to eat food and they're eating food that really isn't going to be the food that you should be eating, you can't totally get rid of that food out of your house. But maybe what you could do is maybe you can say, okay, here's mom and dad food goes here, and that's off limits to the kids, and kids food goes here, and it's off limits to mom and dad, if that's how you want to break it up. Um, you know, the amount of the amount of time doing research and getting the plan done. You should also, as you're doing the research, consider putting some time into figuring out what are the obstacles that you need to avoid or overcome. This is an important piece of the process. So add this into the equation before you actually start to take action on your plan. All right, number four, and you guys probably knew I was going to go here with this. Create a daily routine and action plan. This is really, really important. This is setting up the success plan, and this is key. So based on your research, based on all that you've learned and the plan that you know is going to bring you success, what are the daily action items you need to do each day, each week to keep your promise? So this is like creating a predetermined script. So for example, I will wake up 30 minutes earlier each day so that I can incorporate time to walk on the treadmill. Or I will eat 4 prepared healthy meals per day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., no later, without fail, for the next 6 weeks and revisit the progress at that point. Now, if you're a job seeker, I'm going to use that example. I will send out 10 LinkedIn invitations each day, including weekends, so that I can build my network for my job search. List out the details of all the things that you need to put into your calendar each day. I'm just giving you examples. That's not all of it. I mean, fill your calendar with what it is. Be very, very super specific and fill your calendar on what it is that you need to do to make sure that you stay on track and make sure that you start to develop. Each day is a different win. Develop wins. Okay, I got through day 1. That's a win. I got through day 2. That's a win. And the more you stack wins, the more you're going to start to see progress. And then the weight's going to start coming off, or the interviews are going to start coming, and you're going to get all fired up and you're going to say, wow, this really works. And then you're going to want to keep going, and you're going to want to keep going, and you're going to want to keep going. You're going to add more to it. Before you know it, you're going to be celebrating your victory, and you're going to be keeping that promise that you made to yourself. Number 5, obviously, this is the most important piece of the whole equation, is you have to execute. You can put all the plans in place that you want. You can see all the gurus. You can pay for expensive courses. You can pay for coaches and accountability partners. If you don't execute on your plan, you will fail. It's that simple. This is the key. It must be automatic. I could tell you that there are people that sign up for our course, our Aspire MSL course, which is to help people land their first MSL job through MSL Mastery. And they pay all this money and they never finish the course. Some of them never even start the course. So you're not even, forget executing. You don't even give yourself a chance. So make the commitment to once you understand the plan and you have all those pieces in place, the last piece is get really, really excited and execute. There's a term I learned recently called decision automaticity. And basically, it's you make your routine so automatic that you don't have to even think. There's no other options. There's nothing else that you have to decide on. It's an automatic process. It's an automatic decision. Decision automaticity means you eliminate any and all alternate choices. There's no guesswork. And there's an expression that I heard recently: remove choice, gain freedom. Remove choice, gain freedom. You have to make it automatic. There's another term that actually goes really, really well. And I love adding this to the conversation. It goes really well with everything that we're talking about. And that term is cognitive dissonance. It's a theory that suggests when our actions don't align with our commitments, we experience discomfort. This discomfort can motivate us to follow through with promises made to ourselves to restore balance and reduce inner conflict. Basically, we must hold ourselves accountable for our actions to keep our own promises. So, guys, success. What is this podcast about? How to find success in any area of your life, whether it's your career, whether it's your personal life, business, doesn't matter. It's not just about setting goals. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts. That's all good. That's important too. I'm not saying it's not. But this should be about making promises to yourself and taking consistent action. That's it. Have a plan, execute on that plan, keep the promises you make to yourself. I want to add a little more research to this just so you guys know how serious I am and how proven this whole thing is. According to research published in Psychological Science, individuals who make explicit commitments to themselves are significantly more likely to achieve their goals compared to those who keep their intentions vague. Keeping promises to ourselves strengthens self-integrity, which is a cornerstone of self-esteem. Consistently breaking promises to oneself can erode confidence and create a negative self-image. So, guys, this is also about confidence and self-esteem as much as it's about anything else. A 2015 study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that people are less likely to abandon their commitments if they make them publicly. However, promises made privately to oneself are effective when accompanied by self-accountability mechanisms, such as regular check-ins and journaling. Like I said, write it down, have a plan, self-accountability. Guys, I'm so fired up about this because I know it's going to work. I know it's going to work for you. Trust me on this. I want to see you guys be successful. I want to see you guys do this stuff. I want to see it work for you. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I love when I'm, at a conference and someone comes up to me and says, Tom, I listened to your podcast on intentions and intention strategies and it really worked for me. Or I listened to your podcast on success or shoot me a note on LinkedIn. But guys, if you feel like you're alone, please don't, because I'm doing this stuff. I'm rooting for you and I want you to have success. Just know that if you can't trust yourself to follow through on your own promises, how can you expect progress in any other area of your life? The moment that you commit to showing up for yourself, no matter what, is the moment everything will start to shift in your life. Keep your promises, execute consistently, build confidence, change your life. I hope this helps you guys. Love you all. If you got value out of this, as always, please share it with your friends. Thank you so much for all your support. I greatly, greatly appreciate every single one of you. And I look forward to seeing you next time.